Grayling, Timalis timalis, that elegant beauty also known as the Lady of the Stream. They rely on pristine, cold water, which is getting ever more scarce and makes these fish even more precious. My own fly fishing journey began fishing for grayling in Finnish Lapland 15 years ago. Since then, I've returned almost every year for another dose of the particular elixir that is Lappish grayling. The rest of the year, my dreams are filled with memories of trips gone by or the thought of the next trip and potentially huge dry fly eaters. The summer this far north is incredibly short, something that was further reinforced on last year's trip when greeted by frozen lakes and leafless trees in mid-June. When summer does arrive, it's an explosion of life, and the fish often take their opportunity to feed frantically on the water's surface. For many years we dreamt of catching 50cm grayling. That target was eventually achieved many times over, and in recent years it has increased to the rare specimen size of 60cm. This summer, in the best place that I know, at a time of the season in which we have seen fish of this size before, the chase was on.
We 1,100 left.
So welcome back to Lapland and welcome back to Kilpisjärvi. We've been on the road for about 24 hours and are pretty tired now and just got our final bits of shopping from the Kilpisjärvi supermarket. Now we head to the cottage to unload and get a bit of rest.
Mä sanoin vähän. No se on vähän, sulla on pieni kupsa.
Kippis.
Kippis. Kippis. Welcome to Finland again.
60 centimetres.
Yep.
After the welcome drinks, I couldn't resist heading over the road to wet a fly with a little bit of pike fishing. The weather was terrible, and with the drinks and tiredness, my filming was terrible. But on the first cast, this happened. Got a pike straight away. Is a fish on the first cast of a trip a curse? Or is it a sign of good things to come? Or is that all superstitious nonsense? Maybe, but as fishermen, we tend to become superstitious beings, no matter how illogical that may be. We just started rigging up in the morning and the rain has come and there's plenty of rain promised, so let's see how long we can get. We're going to just go across the lake to our local rapids, see if we can catch some grayling there. Let's give it a go. Full of hope, if not expectation of a good start, we headed out across the lake. The initial impressions were firstly that the water level was very low. It had been a particularly hot and dry summer before we arrived, and we had never seen this little water here. Secondly, there were no bugs in the air. This was very unusual for an August day when the wind wasn't blowing hard. It was bitterly cold, so I thought that that could be a partial explanation, though normally that makes little difference. Nothing could be seen rising initially, but that didn't stop me from starting with a dry fly. Experience told me that the fish could still be tempted to rise. Oh. It came up and missed it. It rejected. A combination of overexcitement and unsure visuals on the fly led to me striking on a miss from what looked like a decent fish. Nothing else rose to the clink hammer, so I tried swinging a red tag before going deeper with a streamer. Still nothing. But Sami did find something. Oh! 3 centimetre! Ten centimetre. Oh. Nice one. No, but better. A little further downstream, Joni had found what he described as a good fish rising. Nothing that he had presented to it worked though, so I was given a shot. Sitting on the bank, I spotted a lone caddis in the bushes, so tied on a Goddard caddis to see if that would tempt it. Further down. That's not the big one.
It's better like me.
2025. We found nothing more than small fish to target the rest of the day, and it certainly wasn't the start that we were looking for. That was it. But still, 5 days remained, and we headed back to the cottage, cold, wet, and in need of the cabin fire, sauna, and hot sauce tasting that would follow. The cottage that we were renting was part of a group of cottages which have shared access to several boats positioned at various lakes. As we set off on our planned trip for the day, another car was parked at the boat launch, and someone else was loading the boat. Time to come up with another plan. Off to the next lake with a boat, and this time we had more luck, with the boat waiting for us there. Some locals were heading out onto the lake with sinking lines and streamers, the only tactic that they said was working. We made the decision to head for a small river at the far end of the lake, about 3 kilometers away, and somewhere that we hadn't been before. Getting out onto the lake with the electric motor was pretty tricky, navigating through rocks, against the current, in a narrow channel. This side. But with teamwork, we eventually made it and found our way out, across the lake, and to the river mouth. It was soon evident that this was not a regularly fished river. With no beaten paths around, moving upstream wasn't easy. Joni found a small riser, which he eventually caught, and we continued further upriver. Exploring these more remote waters doesn't always pay off, but the more you explore, the more likely you are to find something special. That feeling when you do find stunning fishing in a remote location that you worked hard to get to is difficult to describe. Discovering new spots for yourself is all part of the adventure and the fun. Despite great-looking water, fish were not easy to locate. Well, found a little fish. So Joni, what's going on? Where's the fish?
On the river.
Where?
That's for sure.
Where's the big fish?
Other river.
Other river. I continued further upstream on my own to see if I could find fish in the more turbulent water. Even if I didn't find fish, the scenery there was worth the trip. A fish, small fish. Oh, and it's off. Ah, no. Well, there were fish here, but were there any big fish? And could I actually catch something? That was the deepest hole that I'd found in the rapids, but it certainly wasn't a big grayling. Something happened there. Fish. I've got to get down to the pool. Oh, I think I'm going to have to leave my rod here. bad one. Well, it's small, but it's small. There we go. And big trout would be nice too. Looks like a trouty spot. Unbelievable.
Yep, that was how the day had been. A lot of effort for not much reward. Back at the boat, Sami had caught a small grayling from the bridge whilst waiting for me. I also gave it a quick go before we headed back.
Oh, perch, Arfin. Arfin. Well. A little bit stuck.
First time today.
A day for firsts. First time swimming would
I already think once that if there's little warm water, I jump in the river and swim back. It's only 3 kilometers.
As we slowly crossed the lake, we could clearly see the storms rolling in. By the time we returned to the car, the temperature had dropped again, and we were soaked.
Almost starts raining.
Lots of fun.
What you don't do with the fish.
know if you can tell by the tears running down my face, but it's a bit cold and windy, and I think we might fish later. Hopefully we'll fish later. The wind's due to pick up even more. I'm going to go to the shop and refuel. Hopefully get ourselves ready for 3 good days. Okay, let's go shopping.
The wind did indeed get stronger, and with a wind chill of +2 degrees, I was the only one crazy enough to want to go fishing. Maybe it was a desperation trip, but decent fish were there, somewhere, and I couldn't leave my rods dormant for a whole day up there.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh! Oh! No, I'm warm. Walking might have been easier.
Fairly predictably, I struggled to cast into the wind and didn't find any fish, so I looked for some more sheltered spots. Could the extreme weather mean extreme fish size if I did manage to hook up? In a way, yes. Extremely small.
God, absolutely tiny. I didn't even feel it because of the wind. I just saw it splashing on the surface. There's a baby grayling. Beautiful thing. Oh, well, it's so small it just went through the net. Oh, it's a fish. Is that like... even smaller? I didn't think that was possible. 3 full fishing days down and not a decent grayling between us. It's getting pretty tough. Will we find some decent grayling? I don't know, I'd take one big grayling right now. I'll tell you that. It's a long journey for fish this big. A long journey for this. Right now spirits are pretty low. I'm not sure if we'll manage to make it happen this week. It's raining, the wind's there, it's bitterly cold. No flies, no rising fish. Let's hope it all changes.
Joni's evening programme did lift, and also down, spirits though.
So, we have a good mixture of domino, hot sauce,
And don't try that at home.
That's terrible.
I there, don't try that at home.
No, don't try it.
And there was some fishing philosophy to go with it.
Joni, what do we do about the fish? How do we find them?
Quite simple thing. You have to only go where the fish are.
Ah,
So I use this dry five. They eat when they eat.
Go where the fish are, and only use a dry fly. That was the plan for the day. It was a calmer and slightly warmer morning, and the boat was not taken. Our planned backcountry trip could go ahead, and hope, along with some bugs, was back in the air. Our planned destination required a boat ride to the start of a hike that would take us several kilometres up into the wilderness.
Whoopala. Good trip.
The distances covered weren't huge, but navigation, heavy terrain and the climb still made it quite an effort.
I think no Lapland hike is complete without a bog, and that was a bog. Homely camp.
This would again be new water for us, and after studying maps we had an idea of where the fish might be and how to approach it. There were also several caddis around, so that was a good pointer for fly selection. I went for the head of a stream connecting two lakes. Joni took a deep hole in the middle of the stream, and Sami fished in between.
Be a bit deeper up there. Not seen a proper fish there.
As I worked my way up towards the lake, I heard a call from behind me.
Good fish! Okay, coming. Shit. How do I get there quickly?
At this moment, I realised that I had little chance of filming the action. With no safe place to change to a telephoto lens, and getting to clear land very difficult, I just had to race down a slippery, boulder-filled stream as quickly as possible.
This is not easy. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Whoa. Aha.
It's very deep.
Yes, I got that.
These trips are not just about catch and release fishing. A few fish are usually taken each week from the sustainable stocks. Normally, we could be quite selective, but this was the first chance of the week to do a catch and cook. By the time that I reached Joni, his 42cm grayling had been dispatched. I was happy for Joni, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't jealous and even more desperate for a decent fish of my own.
Oh, small one. Good one. Good one. Beauty.
At 52 centimetres, that was a trip-saving fish, and now I could really relax as we searched for something even bigger.
Oh, small one, I think. Oh, it's got to be some of the worst wading in the world. Yeah. The things you do for fish. Hallelujah!
Before leaving this location, we wanted to try the spot where I had started off before being so rudely interrupted. So Joni and I made our way there.
Yes.
Since it was now Joni's turn for a big fish, he took a spot first and started fishing while I waited a little bit downstream. The area beyond him looked too good though, and after a few minutes I waded out there.
That was at least as big as the last one.
Looks quite nice anyway.
Yeah, it felt very heavy.
That certainly was a heavy fish, and I'll be very surprised if it wasn't larger than the previous catch. Whether or not it was a 60 was impossible to say from that brief moment. Had the previous one not been landed, it would have been a hard miss, but spirits were high in that moment, and the disappointment could be easily dismissed. In any case, it wouldn't be long before another opportunity would present itself. Another 42cm grayling, and this one, bleeding from the gill, was also kept for dinner.
Oh, lost. Huge one. I think Definitely over 50, but could have been.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
Try. Great to be here. This is this famous Haukijärvi.
On these trips, I always bring my full array of mosquito protection, and that is something that you normally need continually throughout the Lappish summer. For the first time this week, mosquitoes landed on my face, and I'd never been happier with that occurrence. Mosquitoes kind of go hand in hand with good fishing up here. Still, I wouldn't need to apply any mosquito repellent all week, as that, I'm afraid to say, was it. The reason for the lack of mosquitoes was the rare hot and dry spring and summer. This had decimated the meltwater puddles which the mosquitoes rely upon for reproduction.
Sport fishing. Yep.
Jaha.
Back at the cottage, someone was pleased to see us after a long day, and for me, it was time to cook.
Well, yesterday was great. It was also a bit of a relief to finally catch some good fish after such a long journey up here. Really wonderful day, wonderful but hard trip up into the backcountry, and some great rewards.
A good backcountry day behind us, sunny weather, bugs on the water. It was time to return to the backcountry and our favourite big fish spot. Once again, the boat was taken. We decided to fetch the canoe and attach the motor to it.
Up.
Being crammed in the bow with some instability behind me, heading out to deep water felt very dodgy.
Whoa! Right.
And I felt completely helpless.
Hey.
No.
It wouldn't be long before this attempt would be abandoned and we returned to shore. Sami volunteered to stay behind, and with just 2 of us, it was much more stable.
So 65, then I'm pretty happy.
The first time that we found this spot, the stream was filled with huge grayling all week. The 2 times that I'd been up there since, it was empty though. Immediately, I saw some disturbances on the surface and my hopes got up. With a careful approach, nothing happened. It became evident that these were tiny fish, not much bigger than the dry flies we were casting. My hopes evaporated. But I still tried casting to previously successful spots before getting too close to the water. It was no use. I was casting to nothing. Off to the lake, a place that we know to contain 60+ centimetre grayling. There was no sign of activity here either. The wind picked up, and the most exciting thing that I found was a caddis on my camera. We didn't feel that there was any point carrying on there, so headed back down to the lake where we had left the boat, and the most reliable spot that we know. The efforts of the week were starting to be felt, even more so on a day without fish. This spot had never failed to produce grayling over 40 centimetres. But the stream flowing into the lake was just a trickle, and nothing was found. So once again we returned to the local rapids.
So Joni's found a rising fish. Looks like I've got weed. Not again. I've not got weed, I've got a tiny grayling again. Well, this place is very different this year, so I'm going to try something very different. And that is a very large Lappish. Well, we've got a fish. It's very small. Very small. But it worked. Not even in the mouth. Up you go. A little bit better, but still very small. Beautiful fish. So,
Crazy day.
yesterday was really good. What was today?
Oh, I've seen better days.
Yeah.
Joo, otetaan sille.
The previous evening's plan had been to head back to our top spot of the week, but not everybody had the remaining energy for the trip. It wasn't the time for a solo backcountry mission, so we went for a more accessible spot on the big river. Cold, wet, and windy once again, I wasn't feeling hopeful for the possibility of a big final day fish. Surely our chances of that 60-centimetre grayling had passed for another year. The head of the rapids seemed the most likely spot, so I started there with a dry fly. Nothing. fished all of the way down the rapids and out of the other end, expecting, if not a big fish, at least some small ones. Not a single bite. This wasn't the way to end the week.
Going to Sweden, it seems. Beautiful spots, but man, where's the fish? Where are they feeding fish? Then changing tactics and going for a heavy nymph. That's something I'm not really done here since the first trip, and it didn't work then. But surface did work. So.
Not that either.
Well, let's try. You can but try.
And that didn't do it either. I wanted to try this rig back at the head of the rapids because, well, something told me to, and you just never know.
That's a fish. It's a nice fish. Got a nice fish. Ah! Oh, that's hard. That is hard. I'm pretty sure that was the biggest fish of the week. That could have been 60 centimeters. Oh. Oh.
And it probably was at least 60 centimeters. I returned to the bank, downtrodden, and took my camera out to try to take my mind off it. It didn't take long though, before I was able to laugh it off. Yes, it was the fish that I'd been targeting for years and had invested a huge amount of time and travel into catching. But maybe I didn't really want it to come on a heavy nymph under a strike indicator. The joy and excitement of the chase remain, along with the romantic notion of that special catch coming on a dry fly. It is also at these moments that you remember that these trips are not all about big fish. Friendships, fun, laughter, and the beauty of wild Lapland are what make it all so special.
Sport fishing.